Insecure. I've been insecure most of my life, and maybe till this point, I still am. Not a thing exists that I'm not insecure about. You name it: face, color, name, height, life. I feel insecure about everything of mine. And when you feel insecure about your everything, what you feel next is inferior to others. And the inferiority I felt was not just to those really good people, but instead to every person that exists. Like, make me meet a person, I would find my way to feel inferior to him or her. Maybe this all happened because of years of feeling insecure. And because of all that, I had truly started to feel myself to be God's unwanted children. So here's my life review, living with insecurity, self-hate, and being God's unwanted children. Going back to childhood, from what I know, I've heard like I was born hideous and ugly. And even till this point of life, I grew up to be more hideous and uglier. But leaving that fact aside for a while, as I grew up a little, the fact about being prodigy and talented started to matter more. As now young, we were getting into sports and other skill-based activities and stuff. And then I would see my friends being prodigy at almost everything. Doesn't matter if that sport is something they are playing for the very first time. They would adapt and would be playing like they are the master of it. And then there will be me, behind at everything. They would be out there swimming like fish even if it's their first time swimming. And I would be there, drowning, no matter how much I practiced. I was just behind at everything. I was the Mr. Not Good Enough, no matter whatever the case or subject was. I wasn't good at academic study, nor at physical sports like football, basketball, nor I was good at brain games like chess. Hell, I wasn't even good at virtual games like mobile, online, or PC games. Nor I ever had any inborn skill or talent like acting, swimming, singing, running. I just was born so untalented. I know the fact that everyone says that God has made everyone different and unique and has given special talent to everybody that stays hidden till the right time comes. And yeah, that may be true. My hidden talent might show up while I'll be at my deathbed. And that part about God made everyone different and unique, so you shouldn't compare yourself to others. I mean, I wouldn't be comparing myself if God did his part right and made me at least good enough at some stuff. Therefore, I want to ask the Lord, what was the point of sending me down here like this just to be made fun of and for me to feel inferior? And because of all that, I started to hate myself and started finding me to be worthless. The feeling of hatred and worthlessness towards myself was getting intense and increasing every day. It had gotten so intense that I used to feel guilty every time I ate food, thinking all this food is just getting wasted because it's being eaten by someone worthless like me. Instead, this food should be eaten by someone from the country where starvation is a really major issue, which is killing people that has potential to serve mankind for good. That's who should be having this food, one who has potential to do greater good for mankind, one who is born with a purpose in life and is chosen by the fate to be the chosen one. This food that's in front of me shouldn't be wasted by someone as worthless and insignificant being like me. I used to find myself to be a burden to the whole world. I used to truly hate myself. I was the biggest hater of mine. A little time goes by living with the self-hate. I grew up a little and reached higher grades. I see people and friends around me being narcissists, loving themselves even when according to their behavior they should be the one getting the most hate. But no matter what or how I see it, everyone is still a lot better than me. I do knew life wouldn't work like this, and how long am I gonna hold on to this? How long am I gonna live with this self-hate? I would be off dead if this continues. So I wanted and tried to accept myself for whatever I am, but I just couldn't. The question why I had to be born like this always bothered me. While I too knew whining about things that didn't happen won't do any good and won't solve anything, but at that time it all just felt easier said than done. So the past me just couldn't let go of stuff. I wanted to love myself, but there was nothing to love about. I was just born so unblessed, not good looking. Same with the fate, always followed by adversity and misery. No any skill or talent, awkward around people. I was just tired, dog tired of not being good enough and sucking at everything and feeling inferior to others. It was me who made me feel like this in the first place, so I was the one who had to take the credibility of situation that I'm in and change things for good. So slowly but surely I started accepting myself as it is what it is now. After that, things here had started getting better, but that was not enough, because I may have accepted myself, but I still didn't love myself. I still had high opinions and was harsh towards me. I had forced myself to be okay with the fact that I'm not good enough and worthless, and I need to accept that and live with it. So deep inside, self-hate still remained. And maybe because of that, every time when approached by good person or being in between of good prodigy people, the feeling of insecurity, the sense of not being good enough, and self-hate used to all come back. But I had reached this point that I had already hated myself so much that there was nothing else left except for me to love myself. As they say, when you hit the lowest in your life, there is nowhere else to go except for to go up. Same thing happened with me. I was now tired of hating myself. I wanted to love myself, but as already told, there was nothing in me to be loved. So this strange thing started to happen, which is that my subconscious brain started turning me into a contrarian. Contrarian, a person who opposes or rejects popular opinion or current practices. But I wasn't aware of it because it all was happening subconsciously. Therefore, I became a contrarian, but in a good sense. And after becoming it, what I did was I started to keep tracks of things that are bad in sense of moral or religious point of view, but everyone does them and are so generalized that they are considered normal, not bad. For example, cursing. And looking around while keeping tracks of such things, I found several of them. I saw people around me used to curse a lot. So being a contrarian, I didn't. And till this point of life, I still haven't done it. I saw people around me smoking and drinking. So I didn't. I saw people around me cheating during exams. So I didn't. Rather, I chose to fail the exam than to pass by cheating. But these things I just mentioned are not all, because the feeling of being contrarian and desire to be different and better than others were getting so intense that now I had started getting into even tiniest to tiniest detail to feel different and superior to others. I used to not even kill mosquitoes that used to bite me because almost everybody used to kill mosquitoes the moment they used to see them. Not only that, but I used to even avoid mopping floors where there used to be ants so that I don't kill them. And doing that gave me this sense of I care about and don't kill any life form, unlike other people around me, no matter how small or insignificant that life form may look to us humans. So little by little, morals and values got added up to my character. I started believing myself to be better and different than others. And slowly as the time went by, and because of the contrarian behavior, I developed this very high moral standards. I used to find myself to be the only one in this crowd of countless people to be walking on the path of truth, honesty and self-righteousness. Because around me, I was the only one focusing on even the tiniest detail of wrong and right. I used to relate myself with religious sayings that went like, haram is still haram even if everyone is doing it, and halal is still halal even if you are the only one doing it. It all made me feel special and different and a lot closer to God compared to rest. And because of all that, now I had overcome my phase of self-hatred and insecurity. Instead, I was proud of me for being the person that I am, with such high moral standards even in this day and age, who is always on the path of truth, honesty and self-righteousness. I loved myself for who I am because I realized that looks and talents and skills were not the only thing that could make one to love and be proud of themselves. But even after all that, something still felt missing. And when went into the quest to find out what was missing, I realized it was this hunger to be more different than others. But again, I realized better was just not enough. What I was truly seeking was perfection. I wanted to be a perfect person, so I had started putting in efforts to become one. But as something that always happens, the greed grew more and more. And now, even the perfection was not enough. I wanted to become the second coming of Jesus. The greed to become perfect had rotten me and had pushed me to this point where others' imperfections started to disgust me. But it was fine because it's not like I ever went out of my zone or boundary to hurt or harm anybody. Until that one fateful day when I was made aware of reality from someone really close to me, whom I had been hurting so much that after having enough of my crap, made me aware of the fact that I am just a toxic, intolerable person who just feels good off of defaming others for their imperfection in those tiniest things that don't even matter much or even mean anything in this 21st century. And I'm an empty shell of a man who just feeds off of people's mistake from their past and make myself feel good and superior to them just because I don't have any past mistakes, because I was too afraid and insecure to do anything in my past. And just when I had started thinking myself to be a good person, I realized I'm not. After that incident, I looked back at my journey, from truly hating myself to loving and being proud of myself, and from feeling like God's special children to ending up back where I started from. I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.